Padre Pio revealed something the Church has kept quiet for decades, something you need to know before the stroke of midnight on December 31st. There's a cleansing ritual, a time-honored practice that transforms your home into a sanctuary, a sacred space where the soul of your departed loved one can enter, blessed and renewed for the new year. And what's even more unsettling is that most Catholic families unknowingly make serious mistakes as the new year arrives, mistakes that actively prevent this very blessing from happening. We're just 2 days away from 2026, and what you're about to discover in the next few minutes could completely change the way you prepare for the year ahead. I'm not talking about popular superstitions or empty traditions. I'm talking about a sacred knowledge, something that Padre Pio personally taught the nuns of San Giovanni Rotondo, and that has been carefully preserved through generations. The soul of your departed loved one is watching. They feel when you remember them. They sense when you pray. And most importantly, they know when your home is spiritually prepared to welcome them. The problem is, most homes today are contaminated by negative influences. Influences that block this sacred connection. Have you ever felt like something just wasn't right in your house? An inexplicable feeling of heaviness, frequent arguments that seem to come out of nowhere, difficulty sleeping, or recurring nightmares? These could be signs that your home urgently needs a spiritual cleansing before the new year begins. Padre Pio used to say that December is the most powerful month for the liberation of souls in purgatory, and the last few days of the year are especially conducive to cleansing rituals. It's no accident that the Church has always celebrated special masses during this period. There's a profound spiritual reason for it. But hold on, because before I reveal the complete ritual, you need to understand why it works. And to do that, I need to tell you something that happened in San Giovanni Rotondo on December 30th, 1957, something that was witnessed by over 40 people. On that cold winter night, Padre Pio was celebrating evening mass when something extraordinary occurred. The scent of roses, the unmistakable sign of his mystical presence, filled the entire church. But this time there was something different. The fragrance was accompanied by the aroma of incense that no one had burned. One of the nuns present, Sister Assunta, later reported seeing tears streaming down Padre Pio's face as he elevated the host. And then he spoke words that changed the lives of everyone there. Padre Pio declared that at that very moment, 3 souls from purgatory had been freed, because 3 families had cleansed their homes according to the sacred ritual. He said these souls had been trapped for decades, waiting for their families to understand the power of domestic purification. And then came the most impactful revelation. Padre Pio stated that the turning of the year, the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, is a spiritual portal. In the 3 days leading up to the new year, the veil between the living and the departed is at its thinnest. Prayers have more strength, rituals have more power, and the purification performed during this period has effects that last the entire year. Are you understanding the urgency of this? There are only 2 days left, and every hour that passes is a missed opportunity to prepare your home, so that the soul of your departed loved one can visit, blessed and renewed. But why doesn't the Church teach this openly? That's a question many ask, and the answer is linked to a decision made by the Vatican decades ago, a decision that few are even aware of. In 1962, during the Second Vatican Council, there were intense debates about what should and should not be taught to the faithful. Some bishops argued that certain spiritual knowledge was too profound for the average Catholic. Others argued that everything should be revealed. In the end, an intermediate position was chosen, one that left many practical teachings in the shadows. The home cleansing ritual was one of those teachings, not because it was forbidden, but because it was considered too specific to be included in regular catechesis. And so, this knowledge began to be transmitted only in more restricted circles of devotees and in closed religious communities. Padre Pio, however, did not agree with this approach. He believed that every Catholic had the right to know how to protect their home spiritually, and that's why he taught it personally to anyone who sought him out in San Giovanni Rotondo. Now pay very close attention, because I'm about to reveal the essential elements of this ritual. But first, you need to understand why each element is important. There's no point in performing a ritual without understanding its profound meaning. That would be like reciting empty words. The first element is holy water. Not just any holy water, but water that has been blessed specifically for domestic purification. There's an important difference that most people don't know. Ordinary holy water, the kind you find in the fonts of churches, is for personal blessing. But water intended for cleansing environments needs an additional prayer from the priest. If you don't have access to a priest who knows this prayer, don't worry. I'm going to teach you an alternative that Padre Pio approved. You can take ordinary holy water and, before using it, recite the Lord's Prayer 3 times, Hail Marys 3 times, and Glory Be Prayers 3 times. This doesn't replace the priestly blessing, but it activates the water for domestic use. Padre Pio explained that the genuine faith of the devotee has the power to enhance the sacramentals. The second element is blessed salt. And here's a serious mistake that many people make. They use ordinary salt thinking that the intention is enough. It's not. The salt needs to be blessed by a priest, or in his absence, consecrated through a specific novena that I'll teach you later on. Blessed salt has spiritual properties that have been recognized since the early centuries of Christianity. It absorbs negative energies and creates a protective barrier. Padre Pio recommended placing small amounts of blessed salt in the corners of each room in the house. He said that the salt functions like an invisible army against the forces of darkness. The third element is incense, but be careful. It's not just any incense. There are commercial incenses full of chemicals that have no spiritual value. Ideally, it should be frankincense, the same incense used in liturgical rituals since biblical times. Padre Pio was very specific about the incense. He said that the smoke of frankincense is like a ladder for prayers to ascend to heaven. When you burn incense while you pray, your words are elevated more directly, and the souls in purgatory feel this aroma and are comforted. But here's the secret that few know. The incense should not be lit at just any time. Padre Pio revealed that there are 3 times of day when burning incense is most powerful: at 3 in the morning, at 3 in the afternoon, and at midnight. At 3 in the morning is the hour of divine mercy, when prayers for the souls in purgatory have maximum power. At 3 p.m. is the hour Jesus died on the cross, a moment of special grace. And at midnight represents the transition between days, a temporal portal that amplifies any ritual. Are you starting to grasp the complexity and depth of this? It's not something to be done carelessly. Every detail matters. Every element has its specific function. And when everything is combined correctly, the result is a cleansing ritual that completely transforms the spiritual atmosphere of your home. Now, I'm going to tell you something Padre Pio revealed only to his closest circle. He disclosed that there are houses so spiritually contaminated that an ordinary cleansing is simply not enough. For these extreme cases, he taught a 3-day ritual that must begin precisely on December 29th. But how do you identify if your home needs this intensive purification? Padre Pio listed 7 signs that indicate severe spiritual contamination. The first sign sparks his frequent arguments, for no apparent reason, when family members start fighting over insignificant things, and no one understands why they're so irritated. This can indicate a negative influence in the environment. The second sign is objects disappearing and reappearing in strange places. You leave something in one spot and find it somewhere completely different. This could be simple absent-mindedness, but when it happens repeatedly, it might be a spiritual sign. The third sign is recurring nightmares, especially those involving pursuit, falls, or a sensation of suffocation. Negative influences often attack during sleep, when we are most vulnerable. The fourth sign is the feeling of being watched when you're alone. That impression that someone is observing you, but when you turn around, there's no one there. Not every presence is negative, but if it's accompanied by fear or anxiety, it requires attention. The fifth sign is inexplicable electrical problems, light bulbs burning out frequently, appliances turning on by themselves, strange interference. Negative spiritual energies often affect electrical systems. The sixth sign is animals avoiding certain rooms in the house. Animals have a much greater spiritual sensitivity than humans. If your dog or cat refuses to enter a particular area, pay attention. And the seventh sign, perhaps the most important, is difficulty praying inside the house. If you can pray peacefully at church, but at home your mind wanders, you feel sleepy or discouraged, this can indicate that negative forces are disturbing your environment. If you've identified 3 or more of these signs, your home needs the intensive 3-day cleansing ritual. And you still have time to start today, on December 29th. But even if your house doesn't show these severe signs, a simple cleansing ritual before the new year is essential, because it's not just about expelling the negative, it's about preparing an environment where the soul of your departed loved ones can enter blessed. Padre Pio explained that the souls in purgatory suffer terribly when they cannot visit their families, and often they are prevented not by God's will, but by the spiritual state of their relatives' homes. It's as if there's an invisible barrier preventing them from getting close. When you cleanse your home correctly, you remove that barrier. You create a path for the soul of your departed loved one to approach you, especially during the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. And now, we arrive at the most important moment of this video. I'm going to teach you, step by step, the cleansing ritual that Padre Pio passed down. But first, I need to ask you something. If this knowledge is touching your heart, if you feel that the soul of someone you love is waiting for this, then you are part of a special group of people who are keeping this sacred tradition alive. Padre Pio said that whoever spreads true spiritual knowledge receives special protection, not because God negotiates with the faithful, but because the act of helping other souls generates a natural spiritual merit. The super thanks button you see below this video is not just financial support for this channel. It's a way for you to actively participate in this mission of bringing spiritual knowledge to thousands of people who are suffering without knowing how to connect with their departed loved ones. When you click that golden heart, you're saying that these truths need to continue being revealed. You are becoming a guardian of this knowledge that Padre Pio fought to preserve. And believe me, the souls in purgatory recognize that gesture. Now, let's get to the ritual. Pay close attention, because every detail is important. The ritual should preferably be performed on December 30th, exactly 2 days before the New Year. But if you're watching this on the 31st, there's still time. The important thing is to do it before the stroke of midnight. That marks the New Year now, first step, preparing the environment. Before anything else, you need to do a complete physical cleaning of the house. This means sweeping, dusting, organizing accumulated objects. Padre Pio was emphatic about this. He said that physical disorder reflects and reinforces spiritual disorder. A dirty and messy house attracts negative influences. Pay special attention to the corners. Negative energies tend to accumulate in the corners of rooms. Clean them well. Move furniture, if necessary, to reach areas that are normally ignored. Throw away broken objects that you keep unnecessarily. Padre Pio said that broken objects are like open wounds in the energy of the environment. They represent incompleteness and attract more incompleteness. Open all windows and doors for at least 30 minutes, even if it's cold. This allows the air to circulate and carry away stagnant energies. While the windows are open, you can recite the Apostles' Creed 3 times, declaring your faith and expelling any contrary influence. Second step, the consecration of the water and salt. If you have holy water and blessed salt obtained from a parish, was great. If you don't, do the following procedure. Take a glass of mineral or filtered water. Never use tap water directly, as it contains impurities that symbolically represent contamination. Place the glass on a table where covered with a clean or white cloth. Light a white candle next to the glass. The candle represents the light of Christ that purifies everything. With your hands over the water, without touching it, slowly recite the following prayer. Lord my God, Creator of all things, who in the beginning separated the waters and made them a source of life, bless this water, so that it becomes an instrument of purification for my home, through the power of the Holy Spirit. May this water ward off all evil, and prepare my home to receive the graces that you wish to bestow. Amen. Following that, recite 3 Lord's Prayers, 3 Hail Marys, and 3 Glory Be prayers. The water is now consecrated for household use. For the salt, the procedure is similar. Place a small amount of coarse salt on a white plate. With your hands over the salt, recite the same structure of prayers, substituting salt for water in the initial prayer. Padre Pio explained that salt represents divine wisdom and has the power of spiritual preservation. In ancient times, salt was used to preserve food spiritually. It preserves the purity of the environment. Third step, the sprinkling of holy water. With the consecrated water in hand, you will go through every room of the house. Start with the room furthest from the main entrance and move towards the front door. This is important because you are symbolically expelling negative energies outward in each room. Sprinkle holy water in the 4 corners. While doing so, recite aloud, "In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. May this environment be purified of all evil and prepared to receive God's blessings." Don't forget to sprinkle windows and doors as well. Padre Pio explained that windows and doors are entry points, both physical and spiritual. A window without spiritual protection is like an open gate, allowing any influence to enter. Padre Pio once told a story about a family from Rochester, New York, who suffered terrible spiritual attacks. Every night, the children would wake up with nightmares. The father repeatedly lost his job for no apparent reason. The mother developed an illness that doctors couldn't diagnose. They sought out Padre Pio in desperation, and the first question he asked was about the house where they lived. He discovered that they had moved to that location 2 years prior, exactly when the problems began. The property had previously belonged to someone involved in spiritualist practices. Padre Pio instructed the family to perform the complete cleansing ritual, and he said something that shocked everyone. He stated that the house was infested by 7 spirits who had been invoked by the former resident and had never been expelled. These spirits considered that place their territory and were attacking the new family to force them out. The family followed Padre Pio's instructions to the letter. On the 3rd day of the cleansing ritual, something extraordinary happened. The mother reported that, at 3 in the morning, she heard a sound like a strong wind passing through the house. Even though all the windows were closed, it was as if something was being expelled. From that day on, the children's nightmares ceased. The father got a better job than any he had held before, and the mother's illness simply disappeared. The doctors were perplexed, but the family knew exactly what had happened. This story was documented in the archives of San Giovanni Rotondo. It illustrates the real power of domestic purification when done correctly. And that's why I'm sharing this knowledge with you now, before it's too late for 2026. 4th step, the distribution of blessed salt. After sprinkling the water, take the salt that you consecrated and place a small amount in each corner of the main rooms of the house. It doesn't have to be much, just a pinch. Padre Pio especially recommended the corners of the bedrooms, the main living room, and the kitchen. These are the environments where we spend the most time, and where protection is most needed. The salt should be renewed every 3 months. It absorbs negative energies and eventually loses its potency. When replacing the used salt, do not throw it in the regular trash. Dissolve it in running water, like in a sink, so that it is carried away without contaminating other environments. 5th step, the burning of incense. This is the final and most powerful step. With the frankincense or blessed incense in hand, you will again go through the entire house, this time allowing the smoke to reach every corner while the incense burns. Recite the chaplet of St. Michael the Archangel. If you don't know this prayer, use the regular rosary, but dedicate each mystery to the protection of your home and the liberation of the souls in purgatory. Padre Pio had a special devotion to St. Michael the Archangel. He said that St. Michael is the general of the heavenly armies, and that his intercession is particularly powerful against evil forces. When you invoke St. Michael during the purification, you are asking him to personally oversee the spiritual cleansing of your home. There is a touching testimony from a widow from Boston, Massachusetts, who sought out Padre Pio in 1953. Her husband had passed away 5 years earlier, and she felt that he was trapped in purgatory, suffering terribly. Padre Pio confirmed her intuition. He said that her husband had committed serious sins in life that he never confessed, and that he now depended on the family's prayers to be freed. Padre Pio instructed the widow to purify her home, and to dedicate the purification specifically for the soul of her husband. She followed the instructions on December 30th of that year. On the night of December 31st, and exactly at midnight, she had an extraordinary dream. In the dream, she saw her husband dressed in white, radiant with light. He thanked her and said that he was finally free. He said that the purification of the house had created a channel through which her prayers were able to reach him with full force, and he said that he could now visit her whenever she needed comfort. When the widow returned to San Giovanni Rotondo to tell what had happened, Padre Pio simply smiled and said that he already knew. He had felt the exact moment when the soul of her husband was liberated, and he revealed that this happens frequently at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, when the spiritual portal is more open. Do you understand the importance of what I am revealing? The stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve is not just a human convention. It is a moment of real spiritual power, and the purification done in this period has effects that no other time of year provides. But there's something even more important that I need to tell you. Padre Pio revealed that there are fatal mistakes that many Catholics make at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. Mistakes that not only nullify the purification, but that can attract even more spiritual problems. The first fatal mistake is mixing Catholic practices with pagan superstitions. Some people do the cleansing ritual, and then, at midnight, throw salt out the window, thinking that it brings good luck. Or they wear clothes of a certain color, thinking that it attracts prosperity. This is an affront to God. You cannot purify your house in the name of Christ, and then practice rituals that come from pagan traditions. Padre Pio was implacable regarding this. He said that God does not share his house with idols. Or you either fully trust in divine protection, or you're rejecting that protection by seeking help from other sources. The second fatal mistake is performing the cleansing ritual with resentment in your heart. If you harbor ill feelings towards someone, if there's a person you can't forgive, then the cleansing won't work completely. The negative energies you want to drive out of your home are also within you, and they'll continue to manifest until you release them through forgiveness. Padre Pio insisted that before any external cleansing, an internal purification is necessary. He recommended that the day before the ritual, the person make a sincere confession, or at least a deep examination of conscience, followed by an act of contrition. The third fatal mistake is expecting immediate and dramatic results. Some people perform the cleansing expecting to see lights, hear voices, or feel an angelic presence, and when none of that happens, they think the ritual didn't work. But God acts in mysterious ways. Most cleansings happen silently, in the spiritual realm, without visible manifestations. Padre Pio used to say that the greatest sign of a successful cleansing is the peace that gradually settles in. In the following days, you'll notice that arguments diminish, that sleep improves, that there's a lightness in the air of the house. These are the real signs. The fourth fatal mistake, and perhaps the most serious, is not maintaining the purification. Many people perform the ritual once and think they're protected forever. But spiritual protection, just like physical cleaning, needs maintenance. Padre Pio recommended that after the initial cleansing, The family maintained the habit of sprinkling holy water weekly, at least in the bedrooms, and that the rosary be prayed as a family at least once a week. These practices keep the purification active and prevent new negative influences from settling in. Now that you know the mistakes to avoid, let's talk about something that will move you. I'm going to tell you what happens to the soul of your departed loved one when you cleanse your home correctly. Padre Pio had the gift of seeing the souls in purgatory. He often described them in his letters and conversations, and one of the most touching things he revealed is that souls suffer not only for their sins, but also for the impossibility of communicating with the living. Imagine a soul that deeply loves its earthly family, but can't reach them. They see their relatives suffering, mourning their loss, and want to comfort them, but there's an invisible barrier that prevents it. This barrier is often formed by the spiritual contamination of the homes where the relatives live. When you cleanse your home, you're not just protecting yourself, you're building a bridge through which the soul of your departed loved one can finally approach you. It won't possess you or cause fear. It will simply be present in a subtle way, bringing peace, comfort, and sometimes even guidance through dreams or intuitions. Padre Pio recounted that after a well-done cleansing. It's common for family members to have dreams about the deceased where, in these dreams, the deceased usually appears at peace, sometimes smiling, sometimes conveying a simple message of love. These dreams are real visitations. They're not creations of the mind, but genuine encounters between the living and the souls. There's a recorded testimony of a man from Brooklyn who lost his mother when he was only 15 years old. For decades, he carried a terrible guilt because he didn't have a chance to say goodbye to her. His mother died suddenly while he was at school. This man sought out Padre Pio as an adult, over 50 years old, still tormented by this guilt. Padre Pio looked him in the eye and said that his mother loved him deeply and never blamed him for anything. But he also said that she was trapped in purgatory because no one in the family prayed for her. Padre Pio instructed the man to perform the cleansing ritual in his home and to dedicate it specifically for the soul of his mother. He told him to do it on December 30th, 2 days before New Year's Day, because on that date, the power of the cleansing would be at its maximum. The man followed the instructions. On the night of the 31st, he had the first dream with his mother in over 35 years. In the dream, she was young and radiant. She hugged him and said she forgave him, although there was nothing to forgive. She said she loved him, and that she was now at peace. The man woke up crying, but they were tears of liberation. The guilt he had carried for decades simply disappeared. And he knew, with a certainty he couldn't explain, that his mother had finally been released from purgatory. Padre Pio confirmed this when the man returned to San Giovanni Rotondo. He said that the soul of his mother was in heaven now, and that she would continue watching over her son from there, and that the cleansing of the house had been the instrument that allowed this liberation. Stories like this are repeated in the archives of San Giovanni Rotondo. They're not isolated cases. They're testimonies of hundreds of people who have experienced the real power of domestic purification. And now I need to ask you an important question. Do you have someone in purgatory waiting for you? Someone who passed away without you being able to say goodbye? Someone who maybe died in sin and who now depends on your prayers? If the answer is yes, then you know what you need to do. The next 2 days are a window of opportunity that won't repeat itself for another year. The stroke of midnight from 2025 to 2026 is a powerful spiritual portal, and you have in your hands the knowledge to take advantage of it. But wait, because I still have important revelations to make. Padre Pio taught a specific prayer to be recited during the cleansing that accelerates the liberation of souls. This prayer isn't in any common prayer book. It was transmitted orally by him to the nuns of San Giovanni Rotondo and preserved for generations. The prayer begins like this: O God of infinite mercy, who allowed Padre Pio to see the souls in purgatory and intercede for them. Look upon this house that I now cleanse in your name. May all evil be expelled. May every contrary influence be removed. And may the soul of my loved one find here a refuge of peace. Padre Pio said that this prayer has special power because it invokes his own intercession. He promised that even after his death, he would continue interceding for souls and for those who invoked him with faith. And that promise is being fulfilled to this day. There are countless accounts of people who have smelled the scent of roses during the cleansing of their homes. This fragrance is the unmistakable sign of the spiritual presence of Padre Pio. When you smell it, you know that he's present, blessing your cleansing and interceding for you. Now I'm going to teach you the final part of the cleansing ritual, the consecration of your home to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. This is the most powerful protection a home can receive, and when it's done right at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, its effects last for the entire 12 months that follow. First, you'll need an image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This can be a picture, a statue, or even a simple print. The important thing is that it represents Jesus showing his heart. Place this image in the most central location in your home, preferably the living room. Light a red candle in front of it. The red symbolizes Christ's blood, shed for us, and the infinite love of his heart. Kneel before the image and recite this consecration. Sacred Heart of Jesus, I consecrate this home and all who dwell within it to you. May you be the king of this home. May your love reign in every room. May your peace reside in every heart. Protect this house from all evil. Bless those who enter and those who leave, and allow the soul of my departed loved one to find refuge and solace here. After the consecration to the Sacred Heart, do the same with an image of Our Lady. Padre Pio had a very special devotion to Mary. He used to say that she is the door to heaven and the comforter of the souls in purgatory. The consecration to Mary goes like this. O Mary, Mother of Mercy, I consecrate this house to your Immaculate Heart. Cover it with your mantle of protection. May no evil pass through the doors of this home. May your maternal presence be felt in every moment, and may the soul of my departed loved one, through your intercession, come here, blessed and at peace. Padre Pio promised that houses consecrated to Jesus and Mary are under special protection. He saw this in visions many times. He described guardian angels stationed at the doors and windows of consecrated houses, preventing the entry of any evil influence. And now I'm going to reveal something that few people know. Padre Pio said that on New Year's Eve, between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., there is a moment when heaven is particularly attentive to the prayers of the faithful. He called this the hour of passage. During this hour of passage, the prayers for the souls in purgatory have multiplied power. Padre Pio recommended that, during this period, the faithful dedicate themselves exclusively to prayer, especially the rosary for the dead. No worldly parties, no fireworks, no toasting, just silent and intense prayer. He said that many souls are freed in that hour, because God honors the faith of those who choose to pray instead of celebrating in a worldly way. It's a sacrifice, certainly, but a sacrifice that can result in the liberation of souls who have been suffering for centuries. Are you willing to make that sacrifice for someone you love, for a soul that may be counting on you as their last hope? Padre Pio saw purgatory in details that he rarely shared because they were too disturbing. He described souls that burned with desire for God, that longed for heaven, but still couldn't reach it. And he also saw the indescribable joy when a soul was finally liberated. He once said that the joy of a soul freed from purgatory is so intense that, if we could feel it for even a second, we would die of ecstasy, and that this joy is shared by all the angels and saints in heaven, who celebrate every liberation. Do you want to be an instrument of that joy? Do you want to participate in that glorious moment? Then don't miss this opportunity. The next 2 days are the most powerful of the year for this. Now I want to speak directly to you about something personal. If you've made it to this point in the video, it wasn't by chance. The soul of someone brought you here. Maybe it's a father, a mother, a grandparent, a spouse, a child, someone who loved you deeply in life and who continues to love you from the other side. That soul is counting on you. They saw you click on this video. They're beside you now, waiting for you to make the decision to purify your home and open the doors so they can enter blessed into the new year. Don't disappoint them. Do the cleansing ritual. Follow each step that I taught you, and at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, dedicate at least an hour to prayers for purgatory. If you do this, I guarantee you, in the name of everything that Padre Pio taught, that there will be results. Maybe you won't see lights or hear voices, but you will feel a peace that you can't explain. You'll have meaningful dreams, and deep down in your heart, you'll know that something has changed, that the soul of your departed loved one is closer to you, that the barrier has been removed. That love can finally flow between you again. That's the true miracle of purification. It's not about casting out demons or warding off negative energies. Although that does happen, it's about restoring the sacred connection between the living and the departed. It's about honoring those who have passed and allowing them to continue participating in our journey. Padre Pio lived this every day. He was a living bridge between the two worlds, and he left us this knowledge so that we too can build our own bridges. Before I finish, I need to make a request of you. If this video has touched your heart, if you feel that you are going to do the cleansing ritual, share this knowledge. There are thousands of people who weep for their loved ones without knowing that they can do something concrete to help them. People who carry unnecessary guilt, people who suffer from inconsolable longing. By sharing this video, you can be the instrument that brings this information to someone who desperately needs it. And remember what Padre Pio said, whoever spreads true spiritual knowledge receives special protection. Now, for those who want to go further, I leave one last instruction. Padre Pio recommended that, after the cleansing ritual, the person write a letter to the soul of the departed loved one, a simple letter from the heart, saying everything you always wanted to say and never could. After writing that letter, burn it along with the frankincense, offering the smoke to heaven. Padre Pio explained that, just as the smoke of the frankincense rises, the words of the letter are elevated to the recipient's soul, and the soul reads every word, they feel every emotion, and they respond, in their own way, through signs that you need to learn to recognize. This practice of the letter is particularly powerful for resolving unfinished business. If you argued with someone before they died, if there are things unsaid between you, the letter is the means to resolve this. The soul will receive your request for forgiveness. They'll send theirs, and peace will be restored. If you've stayed until the end of this video, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are part of a special group of people who still value spiritual wisdom and the connection with those who have departed. Leave the word purification in the comments below if you plan to perform this cleansing ritual within the next 2 days. I want to know how many of you will be participating in this sacred moment, and who knows, as the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, we may all be spiritually connected, each in our own home, purifying, praying, and opening the doors so that the souls of our departed loved ones can visit us, blessed and filled with grace. May the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary protect you and your home. May St. Michael the Archangel defend you in battle. And may Padre Pio intercede for you and for the souls that you love so dearly. Pray, hope, and don't worry. These were the words of Padre Pio, and they are the words I leave with you now. Do your part, purify your home, pray for your loved ones, and let God do the rest until the next video. And may 2026 be a year of peace, protection, and closeness with those we love, both on earth and in heaven.